Today's gospel lesson is from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 16 through 30. I did baptize also the house of Stephanas. Beyond that, I do not know whether I baptized anyone else. For Christ did not send me to baptize, but to proclaim the gospel, and not with eloquent wisdom, so that the cross of Christ might not be emptied of its power. For the message about the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and the discernment of the discerning I will thwart. Where is the one who is wise? Where is the scholar? Where is the debater of this age? Has not God made foolish of the wisdom of the world? For since in the wisdom of God, the world did not know God through wisdom, God decided through the foolishness of proclamation to save those who believe. For Jews who ask for signs and Greeks desire wisdom. But we proclaim Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. For God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Consider your own call, brothers and sisters. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, things that are not, to abolish the things that are, so that no one might boast in the presence of God. In contrast, God is why you are in Jesus Christ, who became for us wisdom from God, and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. The rest of the gospel lesson is from Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf shall live with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf and the lion will feed together, and a little child shall lead them.
This is the word of the Lord. We all have kind of forgotten things out there. It's fine. I can run up and fix it. Our sermon today is going to be very different than most sermons. It is a thinking sermon, okay? So we're going to be asking a lot of questions. That does not mean we need you to answer. We got it? Okay. So our theme is God Calls the Unqualified, which is kind of the perfect example of today's service. We're the young, the foolish, and hopefully the wise, or soon to be wise, maybe, trying to help y'all understand today's reading. So I get the opening, the cry of the insecurity. I can't do this, God, seriously? There has to be someone better for this job than me. For this example, it would be Rev Joyce, but we're here, we're there. That was my honest reaction years ago when I was asked to lead a Bible study, when I was asked to go join seminary, when I was asked to give up my whole life career in camps to flip a 180 and do this. I felt overwhelmed, unqualified, and terrified, like I am now in front of all of you. My thought, me, why me? I'm not strong enough, I'm not wise enough, I can't speak correctly, how am I supposed to speak to others? I'm not ready, I'm not blah, 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 blah. Continue it as you need. And maybe you've had those moments too, where God calls you to do something, and your first reaction is to run away. He's really good at that, I am sorry, but that's what he does. The reason he does that is God doesn't wait for you to be ready. He calls us in our weakness, not in our strength, to show us that he is our strength.
For years, I believed I had to be perfect for God to use me. I thought I needed to be polished, confident, and spiritually mature. But that kept me stuck. It kept me silent. It kept me afraid. Then I read 2 Corinthians chapter 12 through 9, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God's power doesn't require our perfection. It requires our surrender. He's not looking for flawless people. He's looking for faithful ones.
Let's look at scripture. Moses said, "I'm slow of speech." Gideon said, "My clan is the weakest." David was a shepherd boy, overlooked by everyone, even his own family. Yet God chose them. Why? Because God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. He delights in using ordinary people to do extraordinary things. If you feel unqualified, you're in good company. When we say yes to God, we often face giants, not just literal ones like Goliath, but emotional, spiritual, and circumstantial giants. Fear, insecurity, financial pressure, illness, the opinions of others. These giants loom large. They whisper lies. You're not enough. You'll fail. You're alone. But here's the truth. Giants never look up. They forget that there's a power far greater than them. Romans 8:31 says, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" That's not just a comforting verse. It's a declaration of victory.
One of the most freeing truths I've learned is this: God is not asking for perfection, He's asking for obedience. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lead not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Obedience means stepping out even when we feel unsure. It means saying yes, even when we're trembling. God doesn't need us to be fearless. He needs us to be faithful. God's grace meets us in our weakness. He doesn't just tolerate our flaws, He works through them. Just like a potter shaping clay, He molds us, refines us, and strengthens us. And the cracks in our lives, they're not signs of failure. They're places where His light shines through. We are messy. We are mistake-prone. We are often afraid. But we are deeply loved by a God who sees beyond our flaws and calls us anyway.
So today, I want to leave you with this. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing. God is calling you, not because you're flawless, but because you're available. Say yes, trust Him, and watch what He can do. Through a life surrendered to His purpose, because when God calls the unqualified, He doesn't just use them, He transforms them.